Choosing Chaos, Solo Motherhood by Choice, the podcast for women who are done waiting for the one and ready to become the parent on their own damn terms. We're talking fertility, pregnancy, emotional chaos, and the village that it takes to raise a kid. Sometimes you're crying in the bathtub. Sometimes you're crying because your toddler bit you. And sometimes you cry because you chose all of this. Welcome to Motherhood, solo style. Let's get into it. Welcome back to Choosing Chaos, Solo Motherhood by Choice. I am your host, Laura. In part 2 of my conversation with Alex, we dive into life beyond the day-to-day logistics of solo motherhood, and we talk about what it means to always be the strong one, the challenges and opportunities that come with dating as a single mom, finding moments of joy while also carrying grief, and the importance of building a community that can support you through every season of your journey. Let's jump back into this conversation. One of the things that you and I had previously talked about is that, you know, and you sort of touched on that too, is like not knowing it all, doing it all. And there's an aspect of always being the strong one, right? Is we're always seen as the strong one. We just want to be able to let that guard down and be vulnerable and not be seen as that, because sometimes we're just not okay. And so it's hard to ask for help. It's hard to be vulnerable. How has that been for you in this season of your life?
God, this is a tricky one for me because I think it's very much a work in progress. Like, I get told a lot by a lot of people who know me really well, like who they're not wrong, but they're like, you are Superwoman. You own a business. You care for all these people at work. You board this, Tilly, all these things. Volunteer at the school, like all the things. You're so strong. You're such a Superwoman. And it really grates on me. I think it's true. So, like, I receive it as a truth. And at the same time, like you said, I'm like, fuck, I don't always want to be that. Like,
Right?
it would be great to get taken care of by someone sometime.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I need to work on this. I don't know how to work on this. I'm starting to explore that. I don't know if this is TMI for the podcast, but
Nothing's TMI here.
um, I have recently just started thinking about not dating, but figuring out how to have like intimate relationships with men again.
Mm-hmm.
And my daughter's almost 4, so it's been a while.
When people ask me if I'm interested in dating, I'm like, ask me when he's 3 or 4.
Yeah. And I think like, so it just started to happen for me recently. And I really had some conversations with myself about what that would look like. I do not want to go on dates. There's no part of me that wants to like put on lipstick and a dress and like go to a restaurant and
Have the same
no.
conversations about like, what do you do for fun? I don't know.
I do, and this is where it might be TMI for your podcast, but I am interested in like finding a man that I can have an intimate relationship with,
Yeah.
where there's like a little bit of him taking care of me, like
Yeah.
physically at least. I don't know that I can rely on another man for like emotional care, but at least
But a
physically.
man taking care of you physically the right way, if they
Correct.
know how to do it.
Correct. I'm a little chicken still. I'm still like just dipping my toe. But I was like a highly sexual, like I had many boyfriends over many years. I was very like liberated. So to have shut that part of me off, I
It's
had
hard.
not desired it. So it's not like I've been yearning for it, but I'm like, oh, I wonder what turning that part of me back on might feel like. And if there's like a man who I
Could
feel
do
safe
that.
with and I can be vulnerable intimately with, I think that could be a way that I feel cared for.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen on a day-to-day basis. Like, I am a boss. I'm a boss bitch. Like, that's the way it is.
But
I'm
like,
gonna be
hey, Friday night, 9 o'clock, what are you doing?
like between the hours of 8 p.m. and 10 p.m. solely.
True. I'm in bed by 9:30, so let's wrap it up.
I can make it to 10:30 if I have to. Um, so I'm thinking that that might be a way that I'm going to start
Yeah.
exploring that.
I love this idea.
Because I don't see it happening on a day-to-day basis. Like, I do receive help from friends. Like Tilly Tuesdays with my friend Riley is a great example. I have, brought in like some hired support as a
Yeah.
house manager. Like I'm trying to get support those ways. I'm very open that like people think I do it all and I'm like, no, I have a house manager. Like, she changes my light bulbs. Like I don't I'm not changing light bulbs.
Right.
But there's like a deeper care that needs to happen. And that's where like something more intimate I think will start to fill that. But I'm not sure. Check in with me in a little while.
So let me ask you this
Yeah.
because I say this all the time on podcasts is I'm a crime junkie and trust in allowing somebody in without
Yeah.
knowing who they are and now knowing we have a child in the house. How do you navigate past that part of
Thought
it?
about it a
Because
lot.
that scares the crap out of me.
I thought about it a lot. So my daughter goes to school from 8:30 to 5, let's call it. She has like after school stuff. I'm like, it could be a midday.
Oh, yeah.
And
Mm-hmm.
that could be one. The other is like I would maybe have Tilly stay at my friend Katie's house for a night and I go elsewhere or the person comes to my house. It could be like I'm paying for a babysitter and going and meeting up with this person somewhere. I don't know. I haven't gotten so far yet.
Once we get into this exploration of yours, I would love to know more because then you can teach me the ways.
I just feel like I don't, and I may start dipping my toe and realize like, wow, does not feel nourishing at all.
Right.
But I used, I used to find it used to be the place where I was like submissive and or like not the boss. I was always like very kind of submissive in my long-term partnerships, which no one understood. Everyone was like, Alex is such a boss in so many things, and like, really? Like that's how she is in a relationship? Um, but I think that's what happens, right? Like if I'm
You
like
let your guard down.
boss at work, the chair of the board of the like, yeah, that's where I'm gonna let my guard down. So
Hmm.
it feels like a place that will feel natural, but I don't know. I'm not sure.
I love this idea. But one thing that comes to mind too is something what you just said is do you give yourself permission or do people ever give you the permission to struggle when you need it, when you've needed it in those moments? Um, Even just thinking back to last year, is do people just allow you that room to
Yeah,
break down?
I think so. I mean, my best friend Grant, like he and I both have had a couple of tumultuous years for different reasons. We've both been the safe space for the other in some
Mhm.
moments. My team, like the folks that work with me for me, they stepped up so much last year when I stepped away from work completely for like 3 or 4 months to
Yeah.
take care of my mom and then my dad. And my team was beautiful. I mean, they were so resilient and supportive. Um, it's made all of this has also made me a much more sensitive leader. I'm not the leader that I want to be. Like I'm still not the boss that I want to be. But I'm much more understanding of like personal situations and struggles and people needing space and time. I think all of that is good stuff that comes out of having a baby by yourself and then like, a kind of a family crisis situation. But my team, like, there's a lot of crying, even though it's a professional workspace. Um, yeah, I feel like if I really felt the need to let it all go, I could. I don't always feel the need to. I can usually channel it to like my therapy sessions or
Yeah. Your
like
outlets.
yes, some structured conversations with some of my dear friends. Not I don't feel like everyone, how do I say this the right way? Not every friend for anyone in the world, I think. Not every friend is all the things, right? And not every one of my friends can handle some of the complexity that I'm exploring and dealing with. Some of
Hmm.
my friends certainly can, and I those are the friends that I kind of unload on. Um, Other friends, the friendship brings me other things like it's more joyful or laughter based, or it's more like adventure, curiosity based, or it's more like pragmatic, logistical problem solving. Um, so I don't know. I think I've gotten clearer in my life, at least, on what friends I go to for what kinds of purposes.
Yeah.
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 If those people are not available, that can be a problem.
Are you free right now for a 1 minute session?
On July 7th, which was the year anniversary of my mom dying, I had called Grant, who you've heard me mention. I called him a few times the days leading up to it, and he wasn't available. He was traveling. And then on the day of, he was kind of busy. And I think I finally got a hold of him that night. And I was like, "It's the anniversary." And he was like, "Oh yeah, how you doing?" And I could hear like, "Oh shit, today's the day." He's like, I think he sort of was like, "Oh, I almost missed it. We
Or
didn't. We
haven't been
canceled."
there for her? Yeah.
Yeah. But then I was able to talk through what I was experiencing. But I was persistent. Like I kept calling and texting and like, "Hi, talk to me." I didn't say it's the 1 year anniversary of my mom's death. Can we please get on a phone call right away?
Right.
But I was persistent and like seeking support. So I think that's progress.
It's nice that you have that in a friend too. I miss having that where you could just like, especially the male, like a male to go to have those types of vulnerable conversations with. I
I,
miss that.
this might be totally inappropriate to say, but I think every solo mom by choice needs a really great gay best friend.
I
So
agree. Yes, I
it's
agree.
great. It's great.
Yeah, they are great.
Different
They're
energy.
amazing.
It's like a
Yes.
different perspective. He has a really special, unique relationship with my daughter. That's very cool. Yeah.
When you think about your parents, it is one something I wanted to say before is it's a probably a very meaningful thing to them as they were ending their journeys through life that you were there, but also that your daughter, now I'm going to cry, got
Yeah.
to be there with them. That had to mean so much as they were processing everything that they were going through. And so I'm
Yeah.
sure that that was a piece that they took with them as they entered into the afterworld. And, everybody believes in different things, right? But um, I think that that is very special. And it has to mean the world that they got to take that with them.
I hope so.
Yeah.
I hope so. My parents were we lived across the country from each other, so we didn't see each other all the time. And I had a pretty complicated relationship with my father, which kept me sort of at an arm's distance from him for a lot of my adulthood. I sort of thought when I had a kid, everything would change because they had been
Right.
hounding me for 20 years to have a child. And I was like, "Let me
Right.
do it. Are you guys going to be the best grandparents on the planet?"
Right.
The answer was no. They were not. Um,
Because
Tilly,
people only change when they want to change.
so true.
Yeah.
Um, Tilly spent more time in that last month with my mom than her whole life, by a long shot. Um, and I was so sad for Tilly because my mom was wonderful. Um, I was really sad for Tilly, but I was really sad for me to like not sort of, a lot of people talk about how to see their parent with their child is like such a special, like, "Oh my god, you're so great to the kid and you were not so great to me." Like, what the heck? And I don't know, I was really looking forward to that. I was looking forward to seeing my parents in a new way through their relationship with Tilly. So I like mourn that. I grieve that.
As I say, it's almost like you guys were robbed of that.
Yeah, I do feel that way,
Yeah.
especially with my mom. Um, my dad, I had kind of been preparing for a long time. Would pass away. He wasn't super well, but um, I don't know. I thought my mom and Tilly were gonna. My daughter. You would not know it looking at me, but my daughter is like fair skinned and curly, 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 short red hair.
Oh my gosh, you have to send me pictures
Yeah.
offline.
But my mom was a redhead, and it meant so much to my mom that Tilly got the red hair. Um, and I don't know. I was like looking forward to like seeing these two redheads like live their lives, together, and me being this like weird brunette in the family. Um, yeah, so it's a lot of like sadness of like what could have been. Um, but that last month it was special. I mean, I would sort of force Tilly into the hospital bed with my mom, and I would force my mom to read Tilly children's books because I was like, I'm gonna create memories. Like
Right.
I would take photos. And I was like, I want some more memories for them.
Right. Do you
It was
feel like when Tilly maybe looks back on her time with her grandma in the future, do you feel like she's gonna remember the hard parts
no, for sure
more
not.
than the fun parts? Good.
I don't know how many fun parts there really were. Like the last month especially was pretty dark, but no, Tilly out of, random 2 p.m. on a Tuesday, she'll be like, "I really miss Oma." And I'm always like, "Oh, you do? Like what do you remember about Oma?" And she'll say something like so innocuous, so benign. And I'm like, "Okay, great.
Yeah. Do you
Okay."
believe that she's still with her?
You know, the
Because they say kids can see things we can't.
maybe maybe. I mean, Tilly, like she's the one who brings up my parents a lot more than I do. Like I think I'm thinking about my parents a lot, but I don't
But
bring
your
them up.
mind's just so busy. Yeah.
Yeah. But Tilly, like, well, she mentions them every couple of days in some way or another. Um, my mother, in her collecting, hoarding situation, there are thousands of feathers in the house. Like, she would go walking on their property and pick up a feather from a bird that she found. And they're just all in these little, like, containers all around the house. Just thousands of feathers. Mostly from, like, hawks or just random birds. And we're currently making a little crown for Tilly out of all the feathers.
Gosh, I was just thinking
Um,
you need to make something cute.
yeah, but
Yeah.
I could throw them all out, or we could like do a cute thing.
Right.
So I don't know. We're trying to like connect to my mom and dad through little things like that.
Hmm.
Tilly does, in a way, like it seems like she's more connected to them, even though she barely knew them. Um,
That's
yeah,
what makes me wonder if she's still
very
somehow
possible.
with
Very,
them
very
because maybe they feel similarly that they got robbed of that time with her, and so now they're
yeah,
trying to stay with her in some way or another.
yeah. My mom always said my mom did not like babies. She didn't really care for me as a baby either. My mom was
Some people
really
are baby people and some people are not.
My mom was not. And when I told her I was going to try and have a baby by myself, she was totally supportive, but she was like, "Let me be clear. I'm not one of those grandmas who like babysits the kid." And I was like, "No, no,
Got
I
it.
got it." Yeah, like I gotcha.
I
She,
lived it.
yeah, exactly. She was like, "But as your child gets older, I would be glad to take your child to the theater, to music, to museums, to the zoo. But like when they're older and they can like talk to me." And so it was always we like joked about it a lot, but it was also I felt grateful that my mother knew who she was and knew who she wasn't, and she never made any promises to me that she didn't keep. Like she was a very honest, truthful person. So in my head I was always like, okay, we're gonna get to like when Tilly's 6, and then Tilly will have these wonderful adventures with Oma. So that I feel so sad about, because if my mom had known she wasn't gonna see Tilly at 6, might she have spent more time with Tilly as a little toddler? I'll never know.
Yeah.
Um, but just a cautionary tale to everyone out there that listens to your podcast. Like, I thought I had 20 more years with my mom. She was not sick. She was in great health. It was all fine. She should not have gone. Um, I would have done things really differently the first few years of Tilly's life, just
Mhm.
trying to deepen that relationship, talk to my mom about things that I think I was holding out, thinking I would talk to her about later, just about parenting and about raising a child and decisions they made about how to raise me and like why they made those decisions. Was it even a conscious decision or not? Who knows?
Right. Right.
Um, and I didn't have that time, and I didn't know I didn't have that time. So, if anyone's like listening and just wondering what their parents' relationship with their kid could be, um, yeah, just like a recommendation to explore that as soon as possible. Like you never know.
Tomorrow's not promised. That
Mm-mm.
is the unfortunate part of life. Hmm. Transitioning into hopefully a little bit more of a less heartfelt conversation.
Who knows?
um, your perspective on conversations that are currently happening in our communities.
Yeah.
You You said that so much of what we read focuses on the struggle and the
Yeah.
scarcity of the world around us. Tell me a little bit more about what you meant by that.
Yeah. It's funny, like, I think I've become a very optimistic person as I've gotten older. Like, I remember being kind of like a pessimistic downer of a person for like the first half of my life.
I was
Um,
totally a bitch back in high
yeah,
school.
I was a total bitch. Oh my God. Um, I don't know. I'm quite optimistic about, look, things that are happening in the world are horrible and horrific, and there's a lot of bad. But I fundamentally believe that the vast majority of human beings are good people.
Yeah,
Um, and that I also, so when people say that they believe like the meaning of life is to find joy, like I don't buy that. I believe that the meaning of life is to like, human beings are uniquely able to feel such a wide range of emotions.
hmm,
And I believe that the purpose of life is to like ride all the waves and feel all the things. And like, you don't know true joy unless you've experienced true sorrow
great
and
thoughts.
anger
Yeah,
and sadness. So I'm just sort of like along for the ride. That's my outlook in the world. I think that makes me like a pretty optimistic person, but also like we can do hard shit. Like I don't love quoting Glennon Doyle, but like we can do hard shit. Um, a hard day is a hard day. It does not mean that the next day is going to be hard. I had a whole bunch of really hard days last year, and I still found a lot of joy at the same time. And again, that's partly having a toddler. Um, I think there's something about, especially the Facebook groups for solo moms by choice. There's just like a lot of the questions that come in are, it just, everything feels framed in such a negative way, and I just worry that we're like perpetuating this narrative that none of us wanted this, like we didn't choose this. Some women did, like I know some women who did want this and did choose this.
right.
um, that we're alone, that it's hard, and like all of those things might be true, and there's never really public expressions of all of the joy and the celebrations and the optimism. um we, this little like sixum of solo moms in Colorado that I'm in this text thread with, like we bitch about a lot of stuff together, but we also try and celebrate each other every time there's a celebration.
Right.
um and so I don't know, I just think that there's, we can be more intentional about reframing things in a slightly more positive way. I've traveled a ton with Tilly since she was born, more than people feel comfortable with, to be honest. Like I went to Germany with her at 2 months, and Senegal with her at 4 months, and Kenya with her at 11 months. And I hired babysitters in all those countries that I had never met before, that I found on Facebook groups. I fundamentally have to believe that people are good in order to keep working in the work that I do and taking care of my daughter.
Right.
I've only had good experiences. I've never had a bad babysitter or like a bad caregiver. Um, People want to be helpful. People are good. Like, I think if we're so focused on all of the things that are hard and negative, that's when we like do that retreating that I was talking about earlier, or we like make our lives small. And I've always lived a big life. I want to keep living a big life. I want Tilly to have a big life if she wants it. And
Hmm.
that requires just like believing in the good of people and of communities. And I don't know. Um, there's a little bit of like, Kristen and I talk about this sometimes. Like, we don't know if we're just more resilient than other people, or like we're just like tougher bitches than other people. I don't think we are. But we just have an attitude of like, okay, it's a hard day. Let's get through it. Like, what are we going to do to get through the day
Right.
and like start again tomorrow? Or,
I feel
wow,
like
it,
people who have been through the really, really hard parts of life, like you've hit almost your rock bottom. I think that's what makes you frame things in a different perspective. Yeah.
maybe even before like losing my parents in last year, like, I don't know. I didn't find, I'm trying to think back to like newborn phase. I was like disassociated for a few months at least. Like I was so tired and kind of like blacked out and just going through the motions. But even then, I'm not sure I like complained a lot. I think there's something about complaining it's one thing to like vent and get something off your chest and like share, but the way that a lot of people are doing it on the Facebook groups, it just feels like it feels so excessive and so negative. And I'm like, do you want to be in that place or do you want to find a solution or find a way forward?
Right.
I'm not sure everyone wants to or is able to for a variety of reasons. I just then have a hard time being in community with people that are really circling the negative stuff constantly. I just think it's a little bit toxic. And so it's about like finding people that I'm aligned with more like mentally and energetically. And in our Colorado moms group, there's a lot of like there's a lot of negativity sometimes, and I think everyone wants to help each other. So the inclination is like, how can I help you? And sometimes it doesn't always feel like people actually want to resolve the thing that they're talking about.
They're just complaining. Yeah.
Yeah, and what I feel sad for in those moments are is the person posting, do they not have anyone in their life that they can talk to? Because I feel like I have so many dear friends. I actually wouldn't come to that group to explain whatever my bad day situation was.
Right.
I would call a friend and be like, "Oh my God, I'm in the shit. Like, help me figure this out and help me get through it." So I actually have a lot of empathy and compassion for some of those moms. I'm like, oh, maybe they don't have
Somebody
friends.
to turn
Maybe
to.
they don't have a community, like an in real life community. And
Yeah.
that makes me sad because like doing this, like going back to where we started in this conversation, feeling like I was really alone doing this, that would be brutal.
Yeah.
Brutal.
Yeah. Like you're drowning constantly.
Yeah. So I feel like you need at least a couple of good friends who are going to help pick you up on the really tough days. Like real friends, real people that knew you before you had a kid, people that like know your true essence, people who can like come to you physically in the real world.
Right.
Um, I think a lot. I don't know. There's something about the Facebook groups. I see women or I read women who it seems like they're doing this and they really are alone, and that scares me because it's certainly not going to be easier.
No.
It's only going to get harder. So I don't know. Maybe I'm not one to give advice. I'm not really an advice doler, but I do think that there's something about building community before you embark on this journey that
Yeah.
feels pretty important. If you want to feel connected and supported and get through tough days, not typing on a Facebook group. I don't know.
And just be able to practice self care. I think back to what you had said too in the beginning is hire the help, lean into your friends,
Mhm.
because you still need to take care of yourself throughout all of this, whether you're a single mom by choice or just a mom in general or a woman.
Yeah.
You still need to practice that self care. It's okay to lean into other people for the support.
Yeah, and I don't want anyone to walk away from listening to this conversation saying like, "Oh, you need money to be able to do this," because I actually don't think that that's true. I think there are
Mm-mm.
lots of ways to hire the babysitter, quote unquote. Um, I have neighbors who their kids are in their late teens, early 20s. They miss little kids. Like they're offering to like, "Hey, we'll watch Tilly while you go to the grocery store." Like they just want to be good neighbors. Or
Yeah.
like a mother's helper at our last house, there was a 15-year-old who lives next door. I paid her $10 an hour. It was not like a ton of money. She just would come and entertain Tilly while I was doing laundry or meal prepping or something. Or like sharing childcare with another mom, right? Of like who has a kid the similar age. I think there's lots of solutions. So I don't want people to walk away listening to this thinking you have to have financial resources to be able to do all these things. I think there are a lot of creative ways. Um, but you got to find something that works for you so you can take a break. There are some moments where I'm like, I will find myself, I'm not embarrassed to admit this. I admit this far too frequently, probably. I will find myself in a full on argument with my daughter. My daughter is not four yet. I am a 45-year-old educated woman. Like, why am I in a full blown argument with my daughter where I will be like, Matilda, I need to go to my room for a few minutes. Like,
Mommy needs a timeout.
I'm gonna go put myself in timeout in my room. And she's like, no, don't leave me. And I'm like, no, I just need to go to my room and regroup for a few minutes. And I will go to my room and I will close the door and I will be like, Alex, you are 45 years old. How are you in a full argument with a 4-year-old? Like, what are you doing?
Right.
Not a good moment. And I'm like, okay, I clearly need a break from her. Like, I need a break from her. She
Mhm.
wants to talk all the time. She wants to talk constantly. It is adorable until I've hit my limit. And in those moments, I'm like, okay, I need to take a break. I got to find a way to take a break. And
Yeah.
either I'm calling a babysitter or I'm asking the neighbors or I'm like, let's go to the play museum and you go play and I'll just sit on the floor at the play museum and like scroll my phone or whatever it is. But I know that I can't do it 24/7 all the time and it doesn't make me a bad mom and it doesn't even make me like a mediocre mom. It just makes me someone who is on all the time and just needs a
A
little bit of
moment.
a break.
Are you ready for a rapid fire session?
Oh, cool. Yeah. Oh, God.
Okay. What's one thing that you refuse to feel guilty about as a mom?
Um, Putting my daughter in kids club so I can go get a workout in.
Honestly, I love that idea because I've been considering it myself.
Yeah.
What's one thing that you've outsourced that saved your sanity? Which I think we've already talked about that.
I mean, I outsource quite a lot these days, but like having a house manager or house assistant, whatever you want to call it, she does a lot of like sort of vendor coordination. She does like research for me.
Oh my gosh, I love
I
this.
don't have her yet like grocery shopping for me because I kind of like grocery shopping. But she'll fold laundry for me if I need it. Unloading the dishwasher. That's the
Oh,
big. I
saint.
fucking hate unloading the dishwasher. I will load the dishwasher all day long. I hate unloading it. Melody can help me with that. A lot of things. A lot of things. Just even
What?
just I outsource like people just spending time with my daughter, which sounds awful because my daughter's in school 8:30 to 5.
But you still have to get
There
stuff done.
are well, there's just some nights where I've been on calls all day for work and like 5 to 8 p.m. feels hard. So I will just outsource it to Auntie Riley.
And there is nothing wrong with that. Your sanity, right?
Yeah, yeah.
What's your favorite thing about toddlerhood?
Oh man, her laugh. She thinks things are so funny, and her laugh is really becoming her own. There's something that happens like around 4, I think, where their voice starts to become like their voice, which I didn't know until I was in it. And so her laugh is like becoming her laugh, and she just thinks the dumbest shit is hilarious. And if you can't find joy and humor in that, like, you must be dead inside. I don't know. It's funny, really funny, weird shit.
The weirdest things amuse them.
I mean, and then she laughs at herself so much. Like she finds herself so funny, and I just love that. That's so rad.
And how can you not be proud of that as a mom,
Yeah,
you
it's
know?
so cute. It's so
What is one thing that Tilly has taught you about yourself?
oof about myself. Um, oh God, I don't know. I feel like I should say something so profound here. Um, she is teaching me. I don't think it's a full. I don't think I've learned it quite yet, but she is like teaching me consistency, like my ability to be consistent in things. Um, it sounds so boring, but like I'm seeing how helpful it is for her for me to have consistent messaging around certain things.
Yeah.
And I am I'm getting pretty decent at that. I'm getting pretty good at that, which I it hasn't come naturally. So I've been like working at it. So I feel like proud of that and I appreciate like she gives me feedback about that it's helpful. I don't know, it's hard to explain, but yeah.
She's already giving you feedback too.
You know, this is a really good example. This was just 2 weeks ago and again last week. I I know, I have read that like when I ask her to put her shoes on because we're leaving, if she doesn't do it right away, I'm not supposed to ask again. I've read that in like an article. Like
It
it
actually drives me nuts when people do that.
okay, well I my natural instinct is to
I
ask her
do it, but it drives me nuts when
my
people do.
natural instinct is to ask her like 4 times in a row, like Tilly, shoes. Like Tilly,
Yeah.
let's put her shoes on. We gotta go. But I've read in an article, it takes the toddler brain like almost 30 or 45 seconds to actually process the request. Okay, so my brain knows that it takes a while. My inclination is like, Tilly, I just asked you, put on your shoes. You're not doing it. She actually 2 weeks ago stopped me and she goes, Mama, sometimes I just need a little bit more time. And I was like, that's really good feedback, Tilly.
I love that she
Thank
did
you. A
that.
couple days later, last week, I don't know what the request was, but I made a request. She didn't respond. I asked again. And she goes, Mama, she put her hands on her hips. Remember I told you that sometimes I just need a little more time? And I was like, oh, shitballs. Okay. And so when I'm doing it, she that like if I give her time, she's like, "Thank you for giving me time, Mama." Okay. So this is like something that's very much in a learning process for me, but
Yeah.
when I do it well and she gives me positive feedback, I'm like, "Okay, I'm like meeting this child where this child is and what this child
Mhm.
needs." Like if I'm really listening to what she's asking for and I'm doing a good job, she will also tell me that I'm doing a good job. So that's amazing.
They're teaching us as much as we're teaching them.
Way more. Way more. Yes.
The patience part, for sure. Hmm.
Yeah, I'm learning. I'm learning.
One thing that I never learned was self regulating. And so I'm trying to install that in Weston. Like, we've been practicing the deep breathing, and
Yeah.
he's starting to do it. And I'm like, it's working.
It's very powerful. It really is. It
Yeah.
works.
Yeah. It's
Yeah,
starting to work.
it really does.
If your parents are anywhere looking over you guys now, what is something that you think they would say to you about your life with Tilly?
Oh man, Laura. Um,
I'm sorry.
no, it's okay. um, I think that they would comment on how like big of a life I've given Tilly already, like traveling and experiencing things and um I mean I learned that from them. Like they did that for me. And I think that they would give me a compliment about how I'm doing it with her because I'm doing a little bit more kid friendly than they did. But still, like, I'm living still my big life. So I think they would comment on that. I think they would be surprised at what, like, repair between a child and a parent can look like. My parents did not understand that. Partly it was generational, partly it was them, but
Yeah.
like I say sorry to Tilly a lot. Like I apologize a lot to her. She apologizes to me as well. But we have big moments together. She's like a big personality. I'm a big personality. We clash and then we repair.
Okay.
And so I think they would be really surprised by that and like probably not understand it at all. But maybe hopefully they would.
We've talked a lot about resilience today, but I think resilience is often misunderstood by people. It isn't always the strength holding it all together, right? Sometimes it's just the asking for help, like we said, the making repairs after the hard moments, and allowing ourselves to just be human. We can really do hard things, but we don't have to do them all perfectly. And we've also talked about community and surviving, and loosely touched on fertility treatments, which I definitely want to bring you back for a further a more in-depth conversation about that because we've navigated similar roads recently. So as we wrap up this conversation today, when Tilly is 30 years old
Oh
and
God.
she's describing her childhood and describing her mama, what do you think that she would say, or what do you hope she would say?
Oof. God, that one too. I'll be old. I'll be old as fuck, Laura.
Same,
Um,
don't worry, I'll be. How old will I be? 70?
I'll be 71, yeah. I hope that Tilly talks about like what a curious and adventurous childhood that she had because of me. I've always been like a global citizen. I've lived abroad. I've lived many places. Like I want Tilly to see as much of this world as possible and really like understand like the depths of humanity and like how beautiful humanity is. Um so I hope she talks about like our big adventures and our um just our curiosity of the world. Um yeah, I hope she sees and understands that like I work a lot, for example, but a lot of it is like about community and in service of others. And so I hope she takes that lesson with her. Um, living a life in service of others, living a life in service of community, supporting individuals, people, animals, the planet. That's pretty important to our day to day life. So I really hope that I hope that's a thread that she carries forward, and I hope that she like looks back on her childhood and sees that that was like a really present experience for us.
What a perfect way to end this conversation.
Oof.
Much appreciated for your time, Alex.
Thank you so much, Laura.
Of
Really appreciate
course.
the space.
Yes. Oh, anytime. Alex, thank you for sharing an honest, hopeful, and refreshing perspective today. I think so many of us need the reminders that motherhood isn't meant to consume us entirely. We are allowed to build beautiful, joyful, complicated, and full lives alongside being a mom. We're also allowed to be human when life feels impossibly hard. And perhaps, most importantly, we're allowed to put down the expectation that we always have to be the strong one. I hope today's conversation reminds you that resilience doesn't mean doing it perfectly. It means continuing to show up, making repairs when we need to, asking for support when it is needed, and giving ourselves permission to experience the fullness of our lives. The joyful moments, the hard moments, and everything in between. Life is beautifully, unapologetically full. We will see you next week on Choosing Chaos.